You're listening to Men of Abundance, episode 226 with Albert Williams. Today we're talking about plan, build, and become a man of abundance.
Welcome to Men of Abundance, the podcast for those looking to level up their lives by hanging out with some of the greatest leaders and established professionals in our community, living a life of integrity, honor, and the abundance mentality. Prepare to pay it forward with your host, former Army medic turned lifestyle entrepreneur, Wally Carmichael.
What's up, Men of Abundance? I am Wally Carmichael, your founder and host of the Men of Abundance podcast, the Pay It Forward community, and today we are paying it forward in a big way. We're talking about, by and large, mastermind groups and the importance of a mastermind. What type of mastermind should you be looking for? And we're going to give you some ideas on what you should be looking for in a mastermind. And part of that's going to depend on where you're at in your life today, where you want to be in personal life and business, as well as a few other factors. Now, men, if you want to get more connected with other men of abundance, then I want to invite you to the Men of Abundance community closed Facebook group. And you can request access to join the Men of Abundance community by going to menofabundance.com and clicking on the members tab at the top of any one of the pages. And what you're going to find in the Men of Abundance community is, one, I share these episodes there so that we can continue the conversation there in the community. And other men are sharing their wins, some of their losses, some of their concerns, and we're just having these conversations in the community amongst men. And it's kind of like a little mastermind, but it's not as personal, some guys do get personal in there, but it's not quite as personal as a mastermind group would be. Yet, it's still a way to get in contact with other abundant leaders who are either living the lifestyle that you desire to live or are on their way to living a lifestyle of abundance. And here's the thing. I know for a fact that you have a lot to add to other men and a lot to add to the community. So I want to invite you to join the Men of Abundance community by going to menofabundance.com, click on the Members Only tab, and request access on that page. And of course, before we get into the conversation, I want to invite you to be abundant in your life today by paying it forward and sharing Men of Abundance with others in your community. And while you're at menofabundance.com, underneath the podcast player, click on the Leave a Review button or the iTunes tab to leave a rating and review, because I am truly interested in your comments. And that pushes us up in the search engine so that more people can find Men of Abundance. And while you're leaving a review, I would ask that you use the word abundance or abundant in some way in your review so that will be found on the search engines as people are looking for anything about abundance or living an amazing life of abundance in family, faith, finances, and fitness. Sharing Men of Abundance with others and leaving a rating and review is literally just a couple minutes out of your time today. Alright guys, so you should know by now if you've been listening to this show for a while, I am a huge fan of mastermind groups to help you plan and build your life and business to become the man of abundance you need to be for your family and for your community. And today Albert and I talk about the importance of masterminds and his unique approach to his mastermind in his plan, build, and become community. Born in Kingston, Jamaica, to a single mother, Albert Williams grew up in the birthplace of hip-hop and the home of the New York Yankees, the Bronx. Motivated by the countless hours his mother worked to create a better life for him and his siblings, Albert grew up to hold several jobs in both the public and private sectors, while at the same time owning and operating several of his own businesses. His entrepreneurial spirit led him to explore many avenues, including landscaper, snow removal, restaurant menu designer and printer, computer consultant, barbershop owner, part-time owner of a laundromat, and part-time owner of a hair salon. In June 2012, Albert acquired Best Deal Private Car Service, Inc., based in the Northeast Bronx with 19 owner-operated cars in its fleet. As president and CEO, he went on to certify the business as a minority business enterprise, increased the company's revenue to top $1.5 million, added hundreds of new drivers, and created a new revenue stream by adding non-emergency medical transportation to their line of services. This serial entrepreneur, with his proven ability to grow businesses, now teaches others through his mastermind coaching. Albert considers it his responsibility to give back, coaching minorities with entrepreneurial aspirations to realize their dreams. Albert also hosts the Plan, Build, Become podcast, interviewing inspiring thought leaders to further help his own minority communities. Men of Abundance, it is my honor to introduce you to Albert Williams. Albert, welcome to Men of Abundance, man. How you doing?
I'm good, Wally. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Where you at in the world?
Right now I'm in my home office in Bergen County, New Jersey, and I work in New York in the Bronx.
No, yeah, I read that, man. That's pretty impressive. We're going to get into that and what you're doing out there. Amazing, amazing things. I absolutely love what you're doing. And, of course, I knew I would because Karen and the team over at Interview Valet introduced the two of us. And I'm just so extremely grateful for Interview Valet as a company that just shares with me some of the most amazing guests and people that I get a chance to talk to. What's been your experience with them so far?
It's been great, man. Tom's great. I know Tom from a Mastermind. Karen, she keeps on top and makes sure I'm where I'm supposed to be. So it's great, man. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, Tom. I've had Tom on the show, and Aaron Walker's been on the show twice. Matter of fact, he's the only guy that's been on my show twice.
Yeah, well, it makes sense because he's my mentor. I'm in his mastermind, so it makes perfect sense, man.
Yeah. Unbelievable individual. Guys, if you are not following Tom Schwab and Aaron Walker, make sure you look them up on Facebook, man. They got some great videos that they put out there. But today's show is about Albert, man. So, Albert, before we get too much into our conversation, I like to start out with an attitude of gratitude. What do you have to be grateful for today?
Well, I'm grateful for the team. First of all, my wife and family. And the team, my employees and my drivers, and mostly my customers as well. Best Deal was named last week on Inc. 5,000 fastest growing company. So we came in at number 2965.
Man.
So I'm grateful for that, man.
That's a lot to be grateful for. I can feel that. That is so exciting, and congratulations.
Yeah, man. Thank you much.
Yeah, to you and your whole team, because it does take a team effort to get that.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. How would you describe yourself?
I would say I'm a go-getter. Aaron, you just mentioned Aaron. Aaron says, when I give you something to do, I give you 3-4 days to do, you just do it. Like, get back to me next week. It's done. I'm done. Like, so I'm a go-getter. I'm heading. I'm all in. And when I'm focused on doing something, I'm just doing it and I'm getting it done. And I'm not getting it done, half-assed, dare I say. Mm-hmm. But I'm headstrong and I'm giving it the best that I got each and every time.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said for people that really just, as soon as they have a task at mind, and as soon as, like, for instance, I get an email, I reply to it right away, because if I don't, then it's going to get lost, and then I'm going to be embarrassed because I'm going to forget about it. And it's just so much easier just to get it done and get, I used to be a procrastinator, but it just really you just get so much more done throughout the day, and in your life for that matter.
Yeah, just get it done. Do it. Don't put it off. There's no reason to delay it. Get it done. The time is right now, and just knock it out. Move on to the next thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you mentioned, you're in Aaron Walker's mastermind, and with Tom Schwab as well. And I know that a couple other guys over there, Scott Beebe and many other folks that are in those masterminds with Aaron. Don't necessarily need to talk specifically about what goes on in their mastermind, but what does being in a mastermind do for you?
It puts me in front of a group of guys that, no holds barred, they're going to tell me that idea sucks, that idea is great, and they're going to help cultivate me into the leader, into the CEO, into the person, to the husband, into the father that I want to be and that I should be. So from a business perspective, these guys, you got in my group, there are 12 guys in my group, and they pour into your business. So imagine you came up with an idea and you have 12 CEOs, 12 business owners from different walks of life, different experiences, pouring into your business for an hour, for a week, for 3 years. I've been with these guys for 3 years. So being in the mastermind, it's a part of life, right? It's I don't know how I've done it, how I did it before, and I don't know how business people do it today without having that trusted group of advisors.
Yeah, I totally, that's my experience. I totally agree with that. What about on a personal level?
On a personal level, I mean, one thing with Aaron, it's all about family, right? One thing I could tell you one personal takeaway. Aaron always says, when his wife or daughters called, he would make it a point to take the phone call. And, when my wife calls, I wouldn't take the call right away if I was on the phone. If I'm talking to Wally, I'll call her back in a few minutes. But now what I do is every time I see my wife calling, I make it a point to be attentive and take that phone call. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing that the Mastermind has done. So ladies, if you want to get your husband to answer your phone calls, put him in a Mastermind.
No, seriously, absolutely. I share this all the time, man. That should be the most important person in your life. Yep. Your spouse above your kids, yep. And then your kids above business partners, yep. And so on and so forth. Because I'm telling you right now, I don't know about the rest of you guys, and I'm gathering from you as well, Albert, is if my wife's calling me, there's a reason why she's calling me. She's not calling to say hi. She's not calling to say, for the most part. She's calling because she wants to talk. She's got a reason to call me, even if it is just to say hi. That's the most important thing going at that point in time. Now, if my wife knows that I'm in an important meeting or something like that, or, because she's got my schedule, then if she's calling, there's a darn good reason why she's calling.
Absolutely. And that's what I do now. Same thing. She knows I'm on this podcast interview. I call her right before, hey, everything's okay. And outside of that, that's what I do, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's get into what you do. Let's talk a little bit about what you got going on, man. You got Plan, Build, Become. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful website. But what's behind it? What's going on there?
So with Plan, Build, Become, right, the touching on the Mastermind. So to my day job, my full-time entrepreneurial job, I own a company called Best Deal Car Service. When I bought Best Deal Car Service in 2012, we had around 19, 20 drivers. Today, we have over 300 drivers, 4 companies. And the Mastermind has played a tremendous role in me growing the business and me growing as a CEO and growing as an entrepreneur. And one of the things I realized, Wally, is that there's not a lot of there's not a lot of minorities in mastermind groups. And there's not a lot of mastermind groups that are focused on the minority entrepreneur. So, in speaking with Aaron and the other guys in my group, like, you know what? I want to start a mastermind for minority entrepreneurs. Number one, to give back my knowledge that I've learned over the years, over the 15 years in corporate America, in business, 15, 20 years, whatever it's been in corporate America in business, but also at the same time to educate folks, as to help them aspire their dreams, like turn their dreams into realities. So Plan, Build, Become was born. And the whole idea is you plan it in your head, you build it, and then you become that entrepreneur, that person you want to be. So that's the idea behind Plan, Build, Become.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's so very needed in so many ways and for so many different communities. And I thank you for doing that, because a lot of men out there of all walks of life, they just need that direction. They need somebody to be able to look them in the eye and say, you have what it takes and you can do this. Because so many men have been told no, or you can't do this. And it's always the reflection of that person's limitations on themselves. Or they just truly think that the individual can't do whatever it is they want to do. It sounds too crazy, but crazy people get stuff done, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of my favorite quotes. Crazy is good. There's nothing wrong with crazy, man. It's crazy is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had quite a few folks on my show, in fact, that have that are doing some masterminds and stuff like that. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think you're the 3rd or 4th person with background from Jamaica. It seems like there's a lot of amazing entrepreneurial mindset that goes on in Jamaica, and a couple of the other guests broke it down a little bit as to the survival tactics required. I don't know if you grew up in Jamaica, but one of them was born in Jamaica, didn't live there, but went back several times. And it's just the survival background of that environment that so many people just have an entrepreneurial mindset. Even the parents are like, nah, go do your thing, man. Yeah,
and that's what it is, right? So for me, I was born in Jamaica. I migrated here when I was 8, but I visited Jamaica as a child probably every other year. What I saw here in the Bronx was my mom. I'm the middle of 3 children, right? And what I saw here was my mom struggling to work to make sure that we were afforded a good education, right? And today, my sister's a registered nurse. My brother's a police officer. And I'm in the middle doing cool, crazy things as an entrepreneur. But, you know, I saw mom work 2-3 jobs and go to school to become an RN. So that entrepreneur drive, if my mother could do 2-3 jobs and go to school, right, at 40, why couldn't I at 21 or 17 or 18 just go to school, period, and get good grades? And then after that, why, you know, instead of playing video games in the afternoon, why wouldn't I go out and cut grass or pack bags in the supermarket, right? And that's where the entrepreneur bug really came from. I just watched my mother.
Yeah. Yeah. Moms are just amazing. Absolutely amazing. I remember my mom getting up at, 4 o'clock in the morning because, you know, let's just face it, my mom, I'll just put it on my mom. It took her a while to get ready for, you know, to go out into public type of thing. I had to do her hair, had to do her makeup. As she used to say, I got to put my face on, you know, stuff like this. And then she'd take a bus clear across town to work. And my mom, I never knew my mom not to work. My dad was always in and out of jobs and stuff like that because of his vocation. But my mom always worked. And, you know, get home late because of the bus. I mean, my brother take care of ourselves and stuff. So I just couldn't say enough about, you know, my mom in general. My wife is just amazing for the kids. But that was one of the things that really intrigued me about you as well is, man, you did all kinds of different things, much like I did, just so many different things. What other entrepreneurial ventures did you get yourself into?
And I started out, let's say, printing menus. Then when I realized that the cost of ink wasn't it wasn't feasible anymore, moved on very quickly. You know, you learn that lesson.
Yeah.
I own a consulting company. I don't do any computer consulting anymore, but I own a consulting company, barbershop, hair salon, landscaping, laundromat. You know, today we have the car service. Now I have Plan, Build, Become. I'm also looking at launching a newspaper for the livery industry, for my livery industry, my taxi industry in New York. So, you know, Inc. 5000 or not, you know, I keep on looking for the next opportunity, the next thing to continue to grow and continue to teach and continue to educate, right? Because it doesn't matter if I know it all and I'm not telling it, and I'm not on great shows like this, sharing with Men of Abundance and other podcasts and just, you know, hanging out with like-minded people. It doesn't make sense if I know it all and I can't pass that knowledge on to someone else.
Yeah, and I noticed here that you also did non-emergency medical transportation. I did that as I was an Army medic, and for one of my EMT courses through a college, I had to do ride-alongs with non-emergency medical transportation, and I found out really quick I did not like that. At all. That's a tough job, man.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, for us at Best Deal, when I came up with the idea of doing NEMT work, that was just a different line of revenue to the business, right? That didn't exist in the Northeast Bronx. And when I came into the Northeast Bronx and we started doing it, today we probably do 600 trips a day, non-emergency medical management, right? And you know, if you could get to the curb and you got a doctor's appointment and you have Medicaid or you have private insurance and you're entitled to transportation, you know, we're one of the companies that the state and private companies contract with, private facilities contract with, and we take people to the doctor, curb to curb pickup.
Yeah, what an amazing service, though, man. And the people are really so appreciative, many of them. Some of them are very difficult.
Some of them
I remember, man, we started talking a little bit about, you know, the tough times of, you know, your mom and the 3 jobs and everything, and that kind of gets us into that kick in the gut moment a little bit. You know, this kick in the gut moment, everybody has, you've got so much stuff going on, but I know along the way it took a toll on you, and not everything was roses and not everything went perfect along the way. But on a personal level or even on a business level, I'd like for you to share one of those kick in the gut moments with us and really make us feel that.
Well, I tell you this, like when, you know, in one of the things that moved me to full-time entrepreneurships was I you know, from corporate America, I had a really bad experience, right? And after that experience, without getting into the specifics, I decided that I would never ever work for anyone again. Right? I should take the entrepreneurial bug has been biting at me for years. Right? And when you put time into corporate America, and you put time into a company, and you realize that at the end of the day, they only see you as a number or a flake on the wall or a dot on the wall. Mm-hmm. There's no appreciation. There's no respect. There's no gratitude. There becomes a time where you say, you know what? It's time for me to go out and create something and get some employees. And then when you have employees, appreciate your employees, show them that you care, and be gracious and give them gratitude, right? Be thankful that you have them. So in my corporate experience, that kick in the gut forced me to move into a full-time entrepreneurship. And it was a bittersweet kick because without that, I mean, I make my own schedule. I'm helping. I have 25 employees, over 300 drivers. I help my community every single day. And that's what it's all about. So that kick in the gut was also a boost to show me a different way. It was almost like a light. You know what I mean? Like you got hit so hard that you saw stars.
Right.
So it was good. It was painful. The kick was painful, mm-hmm. But the after effects of the kick allowed me to serve a lot of people and build what I consider a great business.
Yeah, so I mean, you're providing employment for all those people plus the service that you add into the community that you absolutely was not doing in corporate America.
Absolutely not.
Not to mention taking time away from your family, dealing with causing health issues or potential health issues. The more stressed out you are, stress isn't a bad thing. Stress is a good thing, but it's the right kind of stress. And now you have this stress, but you have control of it. You have control of the situation.
And my stress now is problems, right? Mm-hmm. And as a problem solver, my background is computer science, right? And I'm an analytical thinker, so I welcome problems because I look to solve them, right? So that's a good kind of stress. I would say I eat stress for breakfast, mm-hmm. because for me, the stress that I have is it's a problem, but it's a calm latent stress versus the stress of corporate America. I used to travel a lot, and back then I didn't have any kids, but imagine traveling, 3 weeks out of a month with 2 kids. Mm-hmm. That's brutal.
Well, there's been multiple times that I've been gone for extended periods of time and came back, and my boys didn't even know who I was.
Yeah, that's no good.
At all. I mean, that was my experience 25 years in the Army, being deployed all the time. But, yeah, I mean, and you got to understand, guys, I say that on an Army military perspective, but there are many other vocations out there that require men and women to be outside the house. And many times outside the state for weeks, months on end. I mean, look at truck drivers, even residents that work in a hospital, not the residents, but the interns. They sleep at the darn hospital. Many other vocations require the family members to be outside the house, and it's just tough on the family.
No, and I tell you, Wally, let me stop right here and tell you I thank you for your service, and I thank your family for allowing you to serve and protect this great country, man.
Oh, I appreciate that. I really do. I don't take that lightly. So what are some good news stories? What are some other things that you're doing that are within your mastermind? Let's talk about that, because I just love masterminds, man. I love to hear the good news stories. I support every mastermind I possibly can and lift them up at the very least. What are some good news stories coming out of what you're doing with your mastermind?
So right now with Plan Build Become, we are just about to launch. We're going to launch middle of September 15th. We're going to launch, and we're looking forward to getting some, it's geared for minorities, but all are welcome. But we're looking to put together some amazing groups and get people talking and get people looking at different things and different experiences and putting something great together, because you and I know the effect of a mastermind. The guys that surround Aaron know the effect of a mastermind. The guys that surround Tom, Interview Valet, those guys know the effect of a mastermind. But I know some of your listeners are in masterminds and they know what a mastermind could do. But for those that are not, I mean, I said earlier today in a conversation, you don't know what you're missing if you're not in a mastermind. If you're not around like-minded people, you have no idea what you're missing. So I look forward to growing this mastermind and getting it off the ground and being able to pour what I've learned into others, men or women who want to who have businesses and or have ideas and want to cultivate into a business. So that's what excites me. That's what's exciting me today. And the nod from Inc. is just like it confirmed, like, you know what, this is what you should be doing. This is the next move. You've been vetted, you've been tested, battle tested, and vetted, and in 3 years, man, we're one of the fastest growing companies in America, and hey, I'm humbled by that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally get that. And I'm going to read this bit that you have on your site here because I absolutely love it. And it'll give you guys an idea for those of you who don't know what a mastermind is. It's important that you understand this. It says, and this is on at planbuildbecome.com, the mastermind is not a networking group. It's not a class, and it's not a group coaching. A mastermind is a collection of like-minded people who share a similar belief system to continually strive to improvement through encouragement and accountability. That accountability is a big piece right there. But listen, guys, I encourage you to explore many different masterminds before you find the one that you want to really stick with. And some masterminds you might grow out of, but some masterminds are not cheap. They're quite expensive, and they're that way let me put it this way. It has to be a little bit, this was told to me by somebody else, and I would love for you to chime in on this for how you feel about it. But it has to be a little bit painful because you're paying for men to, or if it's women as well, to get into your life a little bit, get to know you enough to go, dude, what is going on with you today? You are not, I know you're not on the level with us. And they can call you out on your BS. And they can put you in your place. And this isn't just about business. This is about your life too, not just your personal life. Many masterminds, they're about business, but they really get into your personal life. Thoughts on that?
No, I agree with 100%. And I tell you this, the masterminds that I'm in and the mastermind that I will run, it's business and life. Without support from your family, your spouse, your kids, your business is going to fail. There's no way you're going to have a successful business, especially coming out there as an entrepreneur. You could go punch the clock all day. Yeah, you'll be fine. Right. Mm-hmm. But you need that family support. You need that structure. You need the support of your friends, or you need to get rid of some friends. Some friends are going to tell you, man, you should come back to work with me. And when you talk about pricing, I agree with that 100%. Some masterminds are ridiculously expensive. Some masterminds are very cheap, and some masterminds are price, are price conscious. But one thing I agree with, you definitely got to try and find the mastermind that fits for you. It's because it's not a one spot, one shop fit all. Mm-hmm. But the key thing is you got to invest in yourself. That's the key thing, right? I know, one of the things. And I from your past questions and past shows, I know one of the things you talk about is a biggest habit, or like one of your habits. And one of my habits is, and I'm skipping ahead here, but one of my habits is I want to make sure that I learn something new every day. And you got to invest in yourself, whether it's listening to a podcast or reading something that you normally wouldn't read, looking at something you normally wouldn't look at. The goal is to learn something new every single day. Like, what did I learn on Saturday? I learned on Saturday that, PC Richard, I don't know if PC Richard, their appliance store, I learned that they don't deliver on Mondays. Why is that? Why does that matter? I buy stuff from PC Richard all the time. I get it delivered all the time, but I never paid attention that I could never get something delivered on a Monday. So I could tell you I learned something new every single day. On this past Saturday, I learned that PC Richard doesn't deliver on Mondays. Not a big deal, right?
Right, yeah.
Right? I'm not going to save any lives with that, but I learned it. Yeah. So I could say, you're going to tell me, Wally's going to say, man, I need a new fridge, and I'm going to have it delivered next Monday. Not from PC Richard, you're not. Right?
That's a good point. One other thing I want to bring up about this, you said, and it says in here to be around like-minded it's important to be around like-minded people. Part of what you just said about reading stuff that you're uncomfortable reading is I'm a big believer in is also being around people that you don't resonate with. Your mastermind you should resonate with at least the leaders and the group as a whole, but you should also get into groups of people, men and women, who have different thought processes than you. Otherwise, you can't. It's just such a better way to grow. But you have to be able to go in there with an open mind. Everybody has to be able to have an open mind to have intelligent conversations and not let it get out of hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the mastermind is as good as the moderator, right? Because someone has to keep that. Someone has to keep it calm, professional, ethical, and respectful. And but there's no buts. It's key. That's without that, then it's just a free for all argument, right? You're in a barbershop, you're in a bar, you're just having a conversation. But I tell you this, guys, you got to get off the bench, and you got to take a step in. To get to that full abundance, you got to surround yourself with like-minded people. I'm sure right now, one of you guys out there listening could say, hey, you know what? I've always wanted to do this, but that damn Phil, he keeps on talking me out of it. Mm-hmm. Phil thinks it's a bad idea. Well, maybe you got to get rid of Phil and get around like-minded people that have your interest. And maybe it is a bad idea, but let's hear it from someone other than Phil.
Yeah.
That makes sense, Wally?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're always going to have that individual who really hasn't done anything in their life that's quick to tell you that you're not going to be able to do it either because they weren't able to do it. Maybe they did try and they weren't able to do it. But you get around the Aaron Walkers of the world and the Scott Beebes and Tom Schwab and everybody else. I mean, you get around Albert Williams. You get around these people and you're going to start thinking differently. You're going to start getting the encouragement that you need, and you're going to truly respect what they say when they tell you, you might want to rethink that. That happened to Aaron several times when Dan Miller would sit down with him and many other folks would sit down with him and say, you need to rethink what you're doing right now.
Yeah, and it's a life-changing event, man. It's a life-changing event, and it's going to be tough at first. It's going to be tough in the middle, and but it's worth every. I say this all the time. I am not selling my mastermind. I am selling mastermind. Period. Right. So it's going to be tough to, open up in front of strangers, talk about your business, and talk about your dreams and your aspirations in front of strangers. But over time, you will understand and you'll see the benefits of a mastermind.
Absolutely. So, brother, we're at the point where we're going to pay it forward to our abundant leaders. I know you know what that is. Are you ready to do that?
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Outstanding. I love it. All of you amazing small business owners out there, I want to talk to you for just a second. Are you still having fun in your business? Is it still as fun as you thought it would be 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago when you first got started? Chances are, if it's not, it's because you're not making the revenue that you thought you would. You're putting more hours in than you ever imagined that you ever would put into a job. And you're just really just kind of keeping it afloat. And that's not a great way to live. I want to help you with that. I want you to have as much fun as I'm having on a daily basis. I don't know that you'll ever be able to work out of your home like I do because of the nature of your business. But I want you to be able to spend more time with family and improve your health instead of degrade your health through spending more time at work, more time in the business. I want you working on your business instead of in your business. Now, if this is your first exposure to me, chances are you don't know me from anybody. And I totally get it that you would question, who is this Wally guy? What can he really do for me? So here's what I'm going to do for you, for all of you. I'm going to offer you 30 days free into 2 of my programs, my DIY program and my group mastermind program. I'm not going to lay it all out right here because I want to get back to the conversation, but go to menofabundance.com and click on the AP Mastery tab at the top of the page. I've put a short video there introducing myself, and I'll put some more information there that you can evaluate and take a look at what it is that I can do for your business. And look, I am willing to work with you for 30 days because I am very confident of the results that I can give you in your business in the first 30 days of you working with me. In fact, on our first 45-minute conversation, I'm going to show you where you have $10,000 to $50,000 hidden in your business. That's child's play for me. I'm not only going to show you where that's at, I'm going to give you strategies on how to uncover that money that's hidden in your business. Now, you can either go to the show notes of this episode or go to menofabundance.com and click on the AP Mastery tab at the top of the page. Now, let's get back to the conversation. So share 1 to 3 actionable steps that men of abundance can take today.
Learn something new. That's the first thing. Learn something new. Second thing, when you talk about paying it forward, really pay it forward. You know what? Let's tie the two in together. You learned something new today. Share it with somebody. You read a new article, an interesting article. Share it with Wally. Say, hey, you know what, Wally? I read this, and I thought about you when I read this, and this may make sense for you. Right. So those are 2 actionable items that doesn't cost anything that you guys could do today. Learn something, and if you find something interesting, hey, you know what? If you live in the tri-state area, tell a friend that PC Richard doesn't deliver on Mondays. You learned that today. Yeah. Learn something new and share what you've learned. So that's my challenge, and that's an action item that anyone could do, and it's not going to cost you much. The cost of a newspaper, not even a newspaper. You go online and pull up an article, right?
Yeah. Yeah, too easy. There's too much great information out there to share with other people. People say that you've heard knowledge is power. Well, that's incorrect. Knowledge is only power when it's shared. And Correct. You have the power to share that knowledge. I
love that, Wally. I'm gonna use that, all right?
Please do. So you already shared one habit with us. What other habits make big impacts in your life?
Getting up early, right? Getting up early is huge. Not because of the kids, not because of the exercise, but you get that time alone. You get up, you get ahead of the day, you get to win the day. I'm a fan of Jocko, and he has a podcast called Jocko Podcast, and he gets up early and you get it done. So, I make it a point anywhere between 4:30 and 5:30. I'm up every single day.
Yeah, I can't help it. My eyes just open at 5:30, and
yeah. That's the old military.
It is. That's just. I've been an early riser for a very long time now. So, what are you reading or listening to that you would recommend to our abundant leaders, and why?
Right now, I am reading the new version of Inc. magazine. There would be no mention of best deal in there because we're $29.65. It only covers the first 500. Mm-hmm. But I want to read the stories of these other great entrepreneurs, these other great small businesses in America that's growing. So that's what I'm reading today. I'm reading that right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's important for folks to do that. One of the things that aggravates me, and I really try to make a point of this is part of my whole abundance journey as well, is to get people to read more and really don't just listen to the news. I'm not going to get into all the different networks and whatnot and their agendas. But the fact of the matter is, the average person who is not a business owner believes that big business or even medium-sized business is out to rape everybody, take all their money, and pour all their garbage into the waters. And there are just some amazing businesses out there. I love the for-purpose type businesses that Yannick Silver writes about in one of his books. But there are so many amazing CEOs, amazing businesses out there just doing wonderful things for the community and the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And and I could tell you firsthand, as a local business owner in the Bronx, and I see it with some of my colleagues. We have an event tomorrow where this guy, Eat NYC, he holds an event every year, and 100% of the proceeds go to feeding the homeless, feeding anyone that needs food. Mm-hmm. And that's, he takes time out, takes about 30 to 45 days out of his business to put this event together. That's an amazing, small, tiny business. And, he just makes it a point to do that. For the last 3 years, he's been doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Have you ever read Yannick Silver's book, Evolved Enterprise?
No, but I will add it to my list.
Get hold of that book, man.
Yeah, I'm writing it down right now.
You're going to love it. Yeah, Yannick Silver's a well-known copywriter. He taught one of the guys that taught Mike Dillard how to do copywriting and stuff. But Evolved Enterprise, just amazing book on businesses that are for-purpose businesses. So what do you feel holds most people back from living a life of true abundance?
I think the fact that they may fail, right? And most people are scared. They have a fear of failure. But I could tell you guys this. If you don't try, you're never going to know if you're going to fail or succeed. And if you do fail, my mother would say, every disappointment is an appointment. Right? So every failure, in other words, every failure teaches a lesson. And get up and dust yourself off and try it again. I mean, I tried with Best Deal. I can't begin to tell you how many harebrained schemes I came up with for Best Deal. Right? And we just kept on trying and trying until we found the right fit for the company. What made sense. The right mixture of this kind of service, that kind of product, this kind of offering, this amount of CSR, this amount of dispatches in the mall, etc. And just get over the fear. Just get over the fear and just give it a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things I tell some folks that I work with, they're asking me the question, I can tell that it's the fear is holding back. I'm telling them, look, let me just take the fear away from you right now. You're going to fail.
Yes, 100%.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Just accept it. It's part of the process.
Yep, it should happen. If you don't fail, something's wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't worry. Don't fear about if you're going to fail, because you are going to fail. Okay, next. Now let's move on. The real fear, I think, in a lot of the cases is they're more afraid of not the failure itself, but what others are going to think about their failure.
Exactly. They're more worried about that guy that's saying, that Phil I mentioned earlier. Come on.
So.
Yeah.
They're just there waiting for it. So what?
Yep.
So what?
Yep.
Who cares? So what does living a life of abundance mean to you, Albert?
It means being able to take deep breaths, look back, reflect, and also give back, communicate, participate. I mean, all the great, I would say the great pleasures in life, right? So here I am, 43-year-old African-American entrepreneur who's able to build a company up, a company that was inexistent, build it up. 5-6 years later, we have 4 companies, 300 plus drivers, and 27 employees, something like that. And being able to look from that 10,000 feet view and looking down on what we've been able to create, not what I've been able to create, what we've been able to create as a company, as a group, even with the support structure of my wife and my family, it just shows that it's abundance at its best. Mm-hmm. And if I could do it, anyone could do it. If a kid from Jamaica could do it, anyone could do it.
It's so funny how all of us that are doing amazing things in our own right, we feel the same way. Because I've got over 200 amazing conversations with just some amazing people, and I've got this podcast that's downloaded in 63 countries. You would have told me this 3 years ago. I was like,
what are you talking about?
I got a book now. I got a book and another 2 more coming right behind it. And I did terrible in high school. Although ironically enough, I found out in college I write really well. I always got really good grades, but in writing anyway, math I can't say as much. But anyhow, I mean, the fact of the matter is, guys, all of us, many of the folks that you're looking up to, they have struggles, and they will tell you that seriously, if I can do it, you can do it. It's just a matter of doing it. Yeah, man, and
you got to find the right people, the like-minded people that's going to continue to support you, right? You got to get rid of the Phils and grab onto the Wallies of the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, brother, we are going to close this up, man. Before we do, what did we not talk about that you want to ensure that our abundant leaders get out of our conversation today?
What I want to see folks do is explore the mastermind. I mean, whether it's my mastermind, Aaron's mastermind, any mastermind. And even if, the cheapest investment is about $20 into a mastermind, grab Dale Carnegie's Think and Grow Rich, and it'll give you a basic understanding of what a mastermind could do for you.
We are definitely going to have your website linked up in the show notes, and that is planbuildbecome.com. Guys, go there, check it out, and just really get into some sort of a mastermind. There's dad masterminds out there. Really, there's several of them that I can refer you to. Just get in touch with me. I've been partnered with a couple of them. Business masterminds for just about anything you want to do, man. They're out there. You just got to look for them. And you can find physical masterminds. A lot of them are online, but you can find the ones that you can physically attend as well.
Yep, absolutely. And for my mastermind, we'll keep, for those guys that are in the tri-state area, we'll make it an in-person mastermind as well.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, just like what Aaron did with Dan Miller, man. I think that's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool. All right, man. Albert, great conversation. I really dig what you got going on, man. Go out, live your life of abundance, and just keep paying it forward. You're making a hell of a difference.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you, Wally.
My pleasure. All right, guys, I think you can imagine what the action step is for today, and that is to do your research and find a mastermind group that is going to challenge you, rather in your personal life, in your business, relationships, whatever the case may be. But it has to be a group that is going to challenge you and that you can add value to. That's the other part of being a part of a mastermind group, is you are not even going to be invited into a mastermind group, paid or not, if you cannot somehow add value. And I assure you, you are able to add value as long as you participate. Now, to help you out with this process, I will leave a list of mastermind groups that either I've been a part of or that I personally recommend because I know some of the leaders in these mastermind groups or even the facilitator of the group. And you can find that list by going to menofabundance.com/226 if you're not already there. Just scroll down. I'll have a list of mastermind groups down there. And if you have any more mastermind groups that you would like to share, then join the Men of Abundance community and list those in the posting underneath this episode. That would be greatly appreciated because I know there are many mastermind groups out there in many different locations. Some of them online, but many of them are mastermind groups within your community, wherever you're at. So post the mastermind groups that are in your community that either you're a part of or that you would recommend to Men of Abundance. Now, go out and live your life of abundance and make sure to pay it forward.
That's all for today, Abundance Leaders. For more about our guests and the powerful information we shared with you today, be sure to sign up for our mailing list at menofabundance.com. We appreciate your time and look forward to hanging out with you on our next episode. So until then, be sure to pay it forward and live your life of abundance.